Alright, back, and this is, I believe, part 4 of this model and series. So, to continue, I'm just gonna play some random music. A smart man would be able to just make this still UV project and not show that portion. So how we do that? Well, we could X remove it. We could B unselect this. And then bring up the mirror. And voila. So that solves that. So that's how you deal with that. Now right now my computer is processing a previous video while still doing this one, so it's causing some screen glitches. Not to mention my graphics card is ATI instead of NVIDIA, which is going to be death of me. I see that this part on the nose is a little bit too pronounced, so we will be doing something about that. Also see that we may have the face look good on the front, but not so much from the side. And so all of this is just a matter of tweaking. So we Alt-H and hide everything. Really, the computer is getting a little slow, so I'm going to wait a moment. Alright, continuing up with our model now, the computer is no longer choking to death. Control up arrow, make this one big view. Alright, so we'll take this and this head. And it's a local private one-on-one view. And just start trying to at least keep the front part of the silhouette correct. Alright, here we go. Didn't have my mic over my mouth, sorry. Alright, we'll bring these down. So we'll smooth this part out, stay true. And let's see just how pronounced this is. Alright, bring this up. Getting a lot of messages on AIM right now. Alright. Alright. So we're just looking it over. And we got a pretty good looking head, you know, at this point. I am quite pleased with it. Let's see. So we need to get personal with the mouth again. The mouth is not a easy part to get personal with. Let's see what we got here. So these are all necessary loops, however, we may not have the best structure happening here. So we'll add one loop here. And we will rip it here. And that's already separated. We will use the knife tool. Cut it to this edge, press enter. Alt M, center. So here we see we have a real geometry puzzle here. How are we going to get these looping around like they're supposed to? Well, we could fight it. You know, I can show you a real easy way to not, and that is to just delete all of this and just extrude it in. But there has to be a more intelligent solution, and that is to we'll just dissolve that into nothing. K cut. We will K cut. We will also cut again. Press escape. Make sure we select the right end of it. And we will merge at center. Alright, so now we see that there is some sort of issue here. Maybe we need it there. We will use K, connect this to this, press enter. We'll merge them at center. Now we have that loop coming around. Now we need to straighten out the inner loop. So the first thing I want to do is find out what the hell is happening here. So we'll merge that at last. Let's see, how far does this loop go up? We could probably get away with that. Alright, so now to merge these two properly, I would center merge. Alright, so this is becoming a real pain. This is one of the things that will make you a better artist for figuring out, but it will drive you crazy in the meantime if you're not able to figure it out. And in this video, we're going to figure this out. We're going to have everything continuous loops going around the mouth. Now, I believe the mouth isn't a real sphincter muscle like they say. I think I heard that in another tutorial. We're gonna V rip again. Merge these two back together. Extrude this out. Fill this to make a face. And we almost are there. But we're just gonna have to alright. So this part we're gonna unselect. Alright, and this is the only way. Sorry, listen to Godier. They were saying that. And there's not really a whole lot to say here. You're just cutting, experimenting, and trying to find what works. Of course, we could have a long time ago deleted all of this vertices and just did it the old-fashioned way, but we are not trying to backtread here. We'll bring that in, and then we'll E O S C. So we're just moving these around. And we'll worry about the actual geometry into this later, but I just want to make sure that we have our ellipse corrected ASAP. So from here, we want to select this edge series and E edge slide. We want to select this one and unselect that, edge slide. So we have a nice even quad series going around this. Now since we added new geometry, it did not get the UV project on it, so we will unwrap. Well, first we have to delete it, add it back, voila. So here we are, the mouth is now at level 1, the nose is at level 0, meaning that we don't have nostrils. We need to get to work on this. So let's see what our plan is. So we got this loop, and we also have this loop, but we should work on getting a loop going. Okay, this part is actually, we broke the fellowship there. There we go. Now the fellowship of the ring has been restored. So we're going to cut, cut, cut. Damn it. We're going to cut, 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 cut. Right here, guess what? Cut. And right here, I never knew it. Cut. Right here, cut. Alright. And we're definitely getting further along now with this. We have our nostrils is right about here, and I agree. Let's dig there for gold. Now here's something we're going to want to address, but not right now. So subdivide, subdivide, hold the phone, cut these verts. I'll deal with them later. I mean, I'll deal with the geometry later. For the fine tuning of this shape, we'll rely on sculpting, but we want the geometry to at least be supportive of what the form is going to actually be. So that's something you want to keep in mind. The other thing is right here, subdivide, hold the phone, cut it, and where are our nostrils? I would say it's these 4 faces. Alright, I would just say these 6. We're going to scale them in. They're looking very unlike nostrils. That's okay. We will come back and correct that. We're just going to use, once again, Angela Jeanette's method, which is to just merge these in the middle and just remove the faces. I say her method because I learned it from her materials, but I'm sure other people use it, but I always refer to it as where I initially learned it. I'm telling you, my ideal job would be to be someone who actually studies the process in which 3D artists build things and just to learn their workflows. Like, I would love that. But instead, like everybody else in this country, I am doing something else. That is not my talent. So we start to see the shape of our nose come together. Of course, the projection is not going to work because obvious reasons. We are projecting a 2D picture onto a 3D model. But there are a couple of things I don't like yet. One is that there is no loop around the outer nostrils. Second is that it's not soft enough. So let's look at this picture in perspective. That'll help us understand what we're going for here. And for the first time in this video, I'm going to turn textured solid off, as while it is a pleasing anesthetic at the beginning, to ease the process of modeling. Later on, it becomes like a nail in a coffin and just kind of makes it hard. So we'll turn it off for a moment, get some work done here. Plus, the model is starting to look a little bit like this one, except I do see that the brow line is needing some work, and of course he has no ears, and the head shape is off by a fuck ton. So let's see where to go from here. Well, I'll just connect these at center. That will cause this to loop back around. Alright, so we have that loop, but we don't have this loop. So, delete edge loop. Now we have that one back. For this, we want to edge slide it. We also want to edge slide this. Alright. So we see with our nose that is now at level 1. We should begin extending these parts. And also these parts here. Let's go ahead and just slide those out. That'll give us that round form I was looking for. So the next thing is the creases around the nose. So right here is more than likely the form I'm looking for. And the other thing is just the overall shape. The upper nostril versus the lower nostril. We see a lot more of the back of the nostril in the front view than we do in my image, in my portion. So let's try to make them more consistent. Sorry if I'm mumbling, I'm just talking while fixing this stuff. You see what I'm doing. You don't even need an explanation. I would put music, but that seems to get me complaints all the time by the DMCA. So I'd rather not go through that and have my videos banned from iPod view. And bring these in. Bring this one up. And here we'll back this up. We will slide this out and bring this back. And that is a damn good looking nose. And if we want to add just a little more possible definition, we have this internal span that we could continue to, that we can add if we wanted. This here I'd rather loop around, but the geometry is starting to get a little complicated here. So I might as well not bite off more than I can chew. But at least we have this loop. We have this loop that's been dead-ended and broken off. these two did not merge, so that's why the loop is not continuous. So we have this area, we have this area. We also probably want one that would span through here and just kind of come along the rim and meet in the middle. And that would be pretty nice. So let's see that again. What kind of loop are we talking about? So we want to just, the easiest way to get that done would be to K, cut here, cut here, cut here, here. It's a knife tool. We do what we want. We make up for it later. We correct it later. This is approaching level 2 modifications now. Once we begin trying to put in detail like this to do the form, which is why sculpting comes in handy for denser models. But sliding just is classic. I've always just worked on a vertex level. I've only really kind of opened myself up to sculpting this year, or actually last year, but I used to not see any practical application for it before, not in my workflow and endeavors, but now I see it's completely invaluable. So we're just going to slide this out. And this is becoming a pretty heavy nose. Now to get more geometry, that cheekbone is popping up very far. Let's fix that. Alright. One moment, getting messaged like crazy. With just these small adjustments, we see that the form is starting to look more like our picture, which is good because I was starting to get nervous for a moment. I'd hate to have to say we were abandoning the picture and just making a model of a dude based off of a picture. No. We are making the dude in the picture. Why else would you call it Project Logan? Unless we're making clones. Alright. So right here, we can press K. That'll give us a nice quad to continue around. What is this? Alright. This is actually part of the microcut package, so we will put a loop there. And we have this. So how to get it to bend around? Well, that is a no-brainer. Merge these two, and tra-la-la. Geometric, we have accomplished our objectives for the nose without any compromise. And we want to probably bring this out just a little bit. Alright. And with every move, we get the nose looking even closer and even closer to what we want it to be. However, I just don't think that nostrils are shaped like this. So, let's get it more of a rounded shape. I don't spend a lot of time looking up into nostrils, but I don't remember picking mine and it turned out to be shaped like that. Alright. And that definitely helps to form. Now the chin is looking a little pointy, so one click there, And we only have just 2 verts around here. So let's help a face out. Cut there. And this, I imagine this would be pretty hard to follow step by step. However, sometimes whenever it comes to learning technique, I find myself downloading the videos, converting them to AVI, loading them into video sequence editor, converting them to frame sequences, loading them back into Blender, setting it up to, instead of having an image, have it load an image sequence. And you can actually scroll through it with your mouse button as you're modeling, which is, you may not understand what I mean, but it'll come up in a future tutorial about how to still people's technique, especially if it's a time lapse. Because I've seen a lot of time lapses where, you know, I just need a frame by frame. And I'm babbling again. So sorry. Just trying to keep it interesting. You know, because I don't get a whole lot of comments from you guys. I get like 8,000 views. Never a lot of comments. People are just quiet. Which I understand, you know, most of the time, just clicking around. You don't feel like commenting. I don't ever feel like commenting. Gotta comment. Say something. Just let me know what you think. If you like the videos, think I'm a stupid noob, wasting my time. Doesn't even matter. Well, I mean, don't be too harsh. But, I mean, everyone's opinions are always welcome. Especially if you have some sort of tutorial idea or request, because I just have to think of it off the top of my head. Right here, we got a triangle. How do you solve a triangle with another triangle? Alright. And we'll put a loop here. We will K here. And what geometry magic have we done here? How did we solve this situation and acquire mission B? Making this geometry for the chin connect with the lip. But this loop, let's see, this loop is, oh yeah, the nasal loop, so the nasal mouth loop, so that one is very important. We can't modify that. Alright, so let's see how we're doing on time on this. And first thing I want to do about this head is take this edge loop and just drag it out. I was going to slide it, found I need to drag it. No, see, when you smooth on something like this, it's just disastrous. But now we are going to take the head up to at least level 1, because right now it's still a cube in my eyes. A very ugly shape for a head. But we definitely have a face looking pretty decent, except at some angles it is apparent that we may not truly have the eyes flat like we indicated right here, and the cheeks are a little far out in my opinion, but these are just things that I see on my end. Now look at the model. Do you see the same things that I'm talking about, where there's just a couple of inconsistencies between the face and this face? Because a lot of people tend to become attached to their models and not so keen to make changes to it, even despite harsh and most of the time correct criticism. So it's important that you do notice these things, or other people will notice it and pick it apart. Or if you're not the kind of person who accepts criticism well, you're going to not get this advice at all because people aren't going to want to tell something to someone who, doesn't want to hear these things. Unless, of course, you have to tell them. So right here, there's definitely a depression in this area. So let's make that happen. And this should lend more credibility to the eyes. Now I actually have a whole group of people that have given me their likeness that I want to record videos of modeling using different techniques. Like Jonathan Williamson also has a very good technique where he kind of builds the outer loops of everything and then just connects it smoothly. And there's no wrong technique. It's all just a matter of how you want to go about it, and if you're able to envision things complete, even at a stage where it's not very complete. So here's what we got with the face applied, not looking too shabby. Turn off textured solid for now, get out of sculpt mode for now, get out of local mode for now. Alright, so we have our head. Let's come up with another game plan, shall we? Here's what we got. Here's what we need to expand to have. So, fairly obvious what we need to do here. Massive moving, massive tweaking, modifications galore. So, this color will be pink. And let me grab my trusty old notebook. Well, wait, what do they call it on Blue's Clues? Handy dandy notebook. Well, I'm talking about my tablet, but you get the idea. Alright, bring up the T panel, hit draw, and let's do this. So we know the head is probably going up like this, coming back around into here, ending at the chin. We know that the jawline comes up here, continues behind the ear. The ear is here. The neck. There's also this that should be paid attention to. This right here. Let's redraw that line. And this is an important part. This part is also important. This part, hella important. Especially if we're trying to make a man. Otherwise it will look like a child or a girl. The jawline is also one of the things that artists tend to miss a lot. Now the hairstyle, we'll come back and do later, but Oh yeah, press escape to get out of continuous draw. Turn down this to be slightly more visible. Now there's a thing here. If we move this up to this size, it will look very large and not fit. So we need to understand why there's such an inconsistency here. It could be an angle, it could be that this picture is not truly lined up. This is where you have to trust your intuition. We're not making a 3D medical model, we're making a flattering representation. So that means that it's our own artistic taste that will determine how this will go and, all of that. right here. We will bring that out. We will hold control and drag for lasso select and select this and bring it out. Sorry if I don't get all the shortcuts. As I tell my friends who are trying to learn the very basics and then come see me. Because I do not like explaining the basics. I've spent a lot of time with that. Not to say I'm done with it or I'm above it, but, you know, it would suck to have to tell people how to drive a car, how to hold the steering wheel in a car, wouldn't it? And that's kind of what it is, explaining the basics. So, plus, not to mention, Blender Cookie has all those videos you need to get you up to speed. Alright, more tweaking. We want to round this off. This, maybe we could slide it forward. Nope. How about we take this, put a little cut here, and then expand it to fit. Bring that up, remove that from the selection. And just rotating. Well, you see what keys I'm pressing, god damn it. These are all just basic keys. Edge slide with Control E, which I should definitely map to a hotkey by now, but Control E clicking it is really not that bad. No complaints. Alright, so from here, we look at it from the front, and this is what we have. The form does look way more complete now than it did previously due to we are also doing very good on time. So if the last video was boring as shit, this one is to make up for it. Get some real progress done. Shut up and model, you know. But slide that back out. We want a good vertice distribution. So we see in here we're going to have to add more spans, but we will not be adding spans unnecessarily, or at least not add spans until we're given no other choice. So from here we need to come up with a plan for the side of the head, because we're going to have an ear in here, right in here. And there's going to be hair, but we got to have the jawline, and I want a loop going through the jawline. I also want a loop going up here that we can then control the depth of the jawline. And these are important things to consider. So if we just, if I may pretend to be a teacher again, we will plot this out. So how should we do this? Well, we have this one going up, which I like. This one's good. And what we want is this right here, of course, to span itself out, but we want one to come from here that converges with this, possibly, which means we might have to micro cut it. Or I'm just making up these terms. I mean, there's probably other ones, but micro cut, put it inside of it, you know. So we want this one to come up and allow us to have a jawline. This will also help with animation. We want this to kind of begin supporting this part until there's a loop that comes up right here that converges with this, into this, into the neck, into the head. We want the neck to come up smoothly and not be sticking out like a tube. So this will have its own spins that will come up like so and give form to the head. So we got the neck checked off. We got this part also planned out. Now the back of the head, however, this part, we'll just draw a big ass question mark because we don't know what goes there yet. But we will figure it out when it comes to it. So, with this game plan, and I kind of like the way it looks when there's all these drawings on it, press escape, we turn them all on. We got a lot of graphic notes we did here. They can't say we did not try. But trying and doing, we are trying to actually do this, so let's do it. This is the loop that is now going to be the jaw loop right here. So all of these need to move starting here to prepare to accommodate the coming of the jaw loop.